I disappeared for 5 years. At my cousin's wedding, my brother said, "Still cleaning toilets?" I pulled out my key fob and said, "My company pays me while I sleep." I hadn't seen my family in 5 years. I showed up to my cousin's wedding and my older brother looked at me across the table, sipped his wine and said, "So, you still cleaning toilets for a living?" I smiled. I pulled out the key fob to my Range Rover and set it on the table. Nah, I mostly travel now. My company pays me even when I sleep. The look on his face was better than any apology he'll never give me. 5 years ago, I was a janitor. That's what my family knew. I worked nights at a corporate office building. I vacuumed carpets, emptied trash cans, and yes, I cleaned toilets. I was 25, and it was the best job I could get after dropping out of trade school. My brother Evan never let me forget it. At every family dinner, every holiday, every gathering, he found a way to bring it up. He worked in finance. He wore fitted suits and drove a leased BMW and talked about quarterly returns like he was performing for an audience. How's the mop business? You scrub any good urinals lately? Must be nice having no stress at work. He thought it was funny. Mom and Dad would smile uncomfortably. Nobody told him to stop. I stopped going to family events 3 years before I disappeared completely. The last one I attended was Thanksgiving. Evan brought his new girlfriend and introduced me by saying, "This is my brother. He's a custodial engineer." Then he laughed. His girlfriend laughed. Dad changed the subject. Mom looked at the floor. I decided that night I was done performing the role of family punchline. I quit the janitorial job 2 months later. Not because of Evan, because of what I'd been doing on the side for a year and a half. During my night shifts, I had 8 hours of downtime between cleaning rotations. I spent every free minute teaching myself digital marketing, YouTube tutorials, free courses, forums. I practiced by running small campaigns for local businesses I found on Craigslist. A barber shop, a dog groomer, a food truck. I charged almost nothing because I was learning. By the time I quit the janitorial job, I had 11 paying clients and was making $4,200 a month. Not much, but enough to go full time. I disappeared from family life entirely. I changed my phone number. I moved to a different city. I didn't post on social media. I wasn't hiding. I was building. Year 1, I scaled to 31 clients and hired my first employee. Year 2, I signed a contract with a mid-size e-commerce brand that tripled my revenue. Year 3, I opened an office with 12 employees and hit $2.1 million in annual revenue. By year 5, a private equity firm acquired a 40% stake at a $14 million valuation. I kept majority ownership. I was 30. I had 28 employees, clients in 4 countries, and a company that generated income around the clock. My company paid me while I slept. My cousin's wedding was the first family event I'd attended in 5 years. I almost didn't go, but my cousin Eric had always been good to me. He never made jokes at my expense. He texted me once a year saying he hoped I was okay. I flew in the night before. I wore a tailored suit. I drove a black Range Rover I'd paid cash for. I didn't go there to show off. I went because Eric deserved to have me at his wedding. The reception was at a vineyard. I walked in and found my table. Evan was already there. He looked the same. Slicked hair, watch too big for his wrist. Glass of red wine he was swirling like he was in a commercial. He saw me and his eyebrows went up. Well, well, look who came back from the dead. Hey, Evan, you look different. What happened? You find a better cleaning company? He laughed. Nobody else at the table did. Then he leaned back and said it. "So, you still cleaning toilets for a living?" I reached into my pocket, pulled out my key fob, and set it on the table next to his wine glass. The Range Rover logo was facing him. "Nah, I mostly travel now. My company pays me even when I sleep." He stared at the fob. "What company?" "Mine. Digital marketing. 28 employees, 4 countries, annual revenue a little north of 5 million. He didn't say anything. His girlfriend looked at the key fob, then at me, then at Evan. Mom was at the next table. She'd been listening. She came over and hugged me. She was crying. "I didn't know where you were." "I know, Mom. I'm sorry. Are you okay?" "I'm better than okay." She held on for a long time. Dad shook my hand and said, "I'm proud of you." I said, "That means more now than it would have 5 years ago." Evan didn't speak to me for the rest of the reception. He left early. His girlfriend stayed. She came up to me later and said, "He talks about you more than you'd think. He just doesn't know how to say he was wrong. He could start by saying it." She nodded. Eric found me at the end of the night. He said, "I'm glad you came." I said, "Me too." We talked for an hour. He didn't ask about the company. He asked about me. That's the difference between Eric and Evan. One asks what you do. The other asks how you are. I flew home the next morning. The Range Rover was in long-term parking. The company was still running. I checked my dashboard from the airport lounge. 4 new subscribers overnight. Revenue while I slept. I didn't clean a single toilet to get here, but I'm not ashamed that I used to. That job taught me to show up early, work when nobody's watching, and never assume someone's story is finished just because you caught them in chapter 1.